Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Wiz here. So we've got another lesson for you. In fact, this will probably be the last real lesson. After this, I will have more videos where we talk about MakeCode, but I'll be spending a lot of time on extensions. So today we are just going to talk a little bit more about arrays. In the last video, I introduced you all to arrays, and we used those arrays to create random asteroids and then also to create some organization with our Space Invaders so that we had different aliens. And we were able to organize that with arrays. So today we're going to be looking at using the arrays to create NPC characters. So these will be randomly generated NPCs that if you walk up to them, they will create a random dialogue. So that will be our goal today. So we're going to use arrays in two ways, one to create the NPCs and one to create the dialogue. So to do this assignment, I need you to go back to the program that you made where we used tile maps and we created a multi-level tile map game. So on that assignment, I did tell you you could use either the original tile map program or the Mario-based tile map program. I used the Mario-based one, so that's what I'm going to pull up here. But go ahead and open up whichever one you used when you were building your multi-level game. So right now, I have a program where the character has 3 levels, and it's just a matter of getting to the end of the map. And when it gets to the end of the map, it takes him to level 2. And then if he gets to it again, it will take him to level 3. And there it did it. Oh, I was going to make that nighttime. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Duplicate. We'll make the last one darker. All right, there we go. So I've got my 3 levels. Now what I want to do now is I want to put some random NPC characters in the game that I can have conversations with that may or may not be important to the game, right? So if you think about a lot of RPG style games that you've played, maybe Elder Scrolls, Skyrim games, or games like Zelda or Final Fantasy or whatever the case may be, there's characters you can walk up to and usually can have conversations with them. And sometimes these conversations can help the player, and sometimes they're just random conversations like, oh, nice weather we're having today, right? So it's really up to how the programmer writes it. So that's what we're going to create. We're going to create random NPCs to put in our map, and we're going to give them some dialogue. Okay. So I need 2 arrays for this. One array will be to create the characters, and one array will be to create the dialogue. So once again, the arrays are in the advanced section down here. So I go to arrays, and I'm going to create 2. We'll go ahead and do the first one. Let me shrink my picture here real quick so it's not blocking too much space. And we're going to create some NPCs. So I'm going to use images for this. And I'm going to put some blank image bubbles in here. And remember with arrays, once you get your first 2, the rest of them automatically fill in, right? So let's just put some characters in our world that we can interact with. We can put this little princess looking lady there. We can grab, well, here's some good looking NPCs, just some regular people. Actually, maybe I don't want the princess, because the princess might be a character in my game. Maybe, if it is a Mario-style game, the goal is usually to find the princess, right? So maybe I won't use the princess as an NPC, but I can use these other guys that just look like normal blokes. All right. We'll grab one more. Okay, so I've got some random people. Now, of course, I could create my own. I could also customize these to make more of them. For instance, if I wanted to have a bunch of characters, but I wasn't very artistic, maybe I could take these images and I could change the color of their hair or change the color of their outfit or maybe even change the color of their skin, right? So there's lots of things I could do to make these guys look like different people. This would be an easy one. I could change her hair, I could change her outfit, and I'd have a completely different girl, right? So you could definitely customize this and make a lot more. But for now, we'll just use these 4 to get started. And since I will have 2 arrays, to keep myself organized, I am going to go ahead and name them. So let's rename this variable to people. And now I'm going to create my array for the stuff that they're going to say. So this time I'm using the text array, the one that has the quotations. So remember, when you see those quotes, it's always referring to text. So let's create our text array. And here I want to put things that they might say when I walk up to them. Now, these should not be lengthy conversations. These are just like little small sentences. Stuff like, let me try that again. Stuff like, how's the weather? Actually, that would make sense because you're staying outside. You would know what the weather's like. Let me change that. Nice weather today. So that would be a little small thing they might say. What else might they say when you run into them? Have you seen my cat? Maybe they lost the cat. What else could they say in these random conversations? Get it. Feel free to get as creative with these as you want to. You could even get a little silly with them if you want, right? You could say something like, ow. You stepped on my foot, right? I should introduce you to my barber. So just silly little things, right? And you could do as many of these as you want to. As we talked about in the last video, arrays can be quite large. I'm just going to stop here, but you can make this much larger and have a much bigger selection of characters and conversations, right? So time to create them. Okay, so what I want to do for my game is I want every level for one NPC to randomly be created inside every level. So my levels are created inside of my function. Why do I have code overlapping other code? Yes, I do. Okay, let's format this so it's easier to see. Format. All right. So where's my function at? There it is. So my function is what's creating the levels. So what I want to do is every time it creates one of these levels, I also want it to create a new NPC. So after all these ifs and else ifs, it places the character on top of the house, which is great. And I want it to then place an NPC somewhere. So I need to create an NPC, though, not place it. So we're going to go to sprites. We're going to grab the block that creates NPCs. And I'm going to rename it. And I'm just going to call it NPC. And in this bubble, I want it to randomly grab from our array, right? So just like we did in the last video, I'm going to use the get random value from and make sure the name matches because I named my array, not NPC. What did I name the array? I named it people. That's right. So it's going to create an NPC and it's going to grab a picture from there. Now, these are not players, so I need to create a new kind for them. So what should I call the kind? I'm already using NPC and people, so I shouldn't use those. I could use lowercase NPC. Would that work? Yeah, that works. Okay. So I'll make it the kind of lowercase NPC. Okay, so it's creating an NPC by grabbing a picture and setting up the kind. Now, right now, it's spawning in the middle of the screen. I need it to spawn randomly. So I'm going to use another one of these blocks to place the NPC on a random tile. So I could place it at one of the bushes. That would work. That would kind of make sense. Let's do that. So let's just have it randomly spawn them at one of my bushes. Now, if I didn't have something like that, I could use the empty one. If I use the empty one, they'll spawn anywhere that isn't currently being used. For this particular game, though, that might not be good because keep in mind, my tile maps, a lot of that empty space is in the sky, right? So if they spawn in the sky, then they're going to fall if I give them gravity. If I don't give them gravity, they're just going to stay floating up there. It just won't look good. So I'm going to have them spawn at a random bush. That will make the most sense for this game. So my NPC will spawn at a random bush. Let's see if it works. So there's my first level, and there's my first NPC. And then if I go to the next level, it should spawn another NPC. Okay, so I want you to notice the first NPC is still there. That's not the new one. That's the original one from level 1. So I'm going to need to put somewhere in my code so it deletes them when it gets... Okay, so here's my new NPC. There he is. And then my third level, I still have that character. And there we go. Okay, so I do need to... I'm thinking about my next steps. I need to make sure that they only stay for the one level. So they need to be deleted when the level changes. And then the next step would be to have the interaction so they could start talking when I interact with them, right? Okay, so let's get back to the program. I want them to be deleted when the level changes. So basically, I could put that in one of two places. I could either put that inside the run level code, so it happens before the level changes, or I could put that in the overlap code here for when they run the function, right? So either of those places would work fine. I'll just put it in the function itself just to keep things organized and easy to find stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the destroy, and I will put NPC, and let's see if this works. Okay, I didn't get an error message. That's good. I wasn't sure if I would get an error message because the first level, there is no NPC. All right, so there he is. And then second level, he should be deleted, but there should be a new one somewhere. Wait, is that the same one? He looks a lot like the first one. But it is random, so maybe he just randomly spawned the same guy. Okay, that's a different guy. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay, so it is deleting the NPC and creating a new one at each level. So that part's working. Time to create the overlap code. So this one shouldn't be too hard for you. You could probably figure it out without my help, honestly. But we're just going to grab an overlap. Not that one. That one. There we go. So when the player overlaps with the lowercase NPC, we need that NPC to say something. So we're going to go to the say block. I'm going to use the temporary variable, other sprite, and put that right there. That way we know it's going to be the NPC that I touch that says something. And then what do we want him to say? Well, we want him to say one of the random words from our text list, because I didn't rename that, I don't think, did I? I did not. Okay, so it's going to randomly grab something from the text list when I talk to it. And then I can use the plus sign to decide how long it says it for. So we can do 1 second, and I can turn the animation on or off. Turning animation on means that it shows up like one letter at a time. It kind of scrolls the words across. If I do animation off, then all the text pops up at once, right? I'm going to go ahead and do true, because that seems to be pretty popular in RPG games. So let's take a look at it. So when I walk up to this guy, he should say something. Oh, okay, so I have a problem. The problem is it's trying to reset it every time I'm touching to him. So it's restarting. Doesn't look very good. So I need to put a pause in there so that that doesn't happen, right? So let's put a pause for, do I want it to be 1 second, maybe 2 seconds? Let's see what happens. Okay, it looks like that worked. Although the text moves pretty fast, so maybe 1 second is too fast for the text. That's a little hard to read. All right, let's do 2 second text and give it a 5 second pause. The reason I'm doing a long pause is so they don't immediately say the next thing, right? Okay, so let's go find one of these and see if that 2 seconds works better. Here we go. I should introduce you to my barber. And if I hang out for a while, she'll say something else. Ow, you stepped on my foot. Yeah, that actually worked pretty good. I like that. And then if I go to the next level, I will have a new character, and they will say something new. Nice weather today. And there we go. We just created NPCs. Good job, guys. Good job. Now, this is just a little extra bit here, but I noticed when I was talking to them, if you look at the two sprites, I actually walk behind the NPC. You see that? I'm walking behind them. I can change that, because usually you want the player to be the frontmost character in games like this. So to change that, I'm going to go to the area where I create the NPCs right here, and I'm going to grab a set block. And after it creates the NPC, we're going to set the NPC's Z, his depth. I'm going to set his depth to be farther back. I'm trying to remember if that's a positive number or a negative number to go farther back. I don't remember. Let's try negative. Let's try -1 and see if that works. If it doesn't work, we'll try +1 next. Okay, -1 worked. There we go. So now I'm walking in front of them. So depth is a way, even though these games are all 2D games, Depth is a way to kind of layer things. So if you have something that's in front of something else and you don't want it to be that way, you can use depth and change that to change layering. So now the player walks in front of the NPCs instead of behind them. All right, cool, cool, cool. Is there anything else I want to do with this program before I let you go? Actually, there is. Let's do one more thing. I'm going to add to my array here a silly character that will randomly spawn. I'm going to add a duck. So I'm doing this just to be silly. So as they're randomly spawning characters, every once in a while, not very often, but every once in a while, instead of spawning a person, it's going to spawn a duck. Now, when I walk up to that duck, do I want it to say the same text that everybody else says? Probably not. It wouldn't really make sense if the duck's telling me, "Have you seen my cat?" Right? So just for fun, I'm going to create a different dialogue for him. So in my overlap code, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just me showing you a little something extra. So I have my overlap code for when the player overlaps the NPCs. This is what he's doing. That's all great. But what I want to do is put a logic in here so that if the character that I'm talking to is actually the duck, I'm gonna move this stuff down to the else. So if the character I'm talking to is actually the duck, I want it to say something completely different. Okay? So how do I use the logic here? What do I put in there to signify that it's the duck? It has to do with the order. Remember in the last video we learned about the order? The first value is value 0 because they count starting with 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So character 4, I know it looks like the fifth character, but it's character 4. When the player overlaps with an NPC, if that other sprite, that NPC you overlapped with, is equal to the NPC at value 4. You see where I'm going with this? Oh, I got an error message. What's the error here? Element implicity has any type because of type sprite has no index signature. Oh, I did that wrong. This is a little bit more advanced. Sorry, guys. I think this is what I actually need. My sprite image. There we go. Still have an error message. Oh, it's not NPC. Womp, womp, womp. I put the wrong name here. It's people. There we go. Now, would that have worked if I had just put other sprite here? I don't think it would have. No, it wouldn't have. Okay, so this was the right thing to do. Other sprite image. All right. So if that's NPC's image equals the array value of 4 in the people array, then I'm going to have it say its own thing. I'm going to have it say not a random value from the list. I'm going to have it say quack. So now when a player touches an NPC, if the NPC is the duck, it'll say quack. Otherwise, or else, it will grab a random value. Let's see if it worked. Oh, look, it randomly does the duck for the first level. So let's see if this works. Quack. It worked. I like it. Although I think I'm going to turn off the animation part for it. Just so it just says quack real quick. All right, that's funny. Okay, so I had some fun with this. I hope you had some fun with this too. This is the last real lesson for the series, so you should know enough now that you can make some pretty cool games. What I'm going to be doing next, I'm still posting videos. For the next several videos, I'm going to be digging deep into extensions. So extensions are an advanced way to quickly and easily make some more advanced games, okay? And I'm going to be looking at a lot of different extensions in the next several videos. So you're going to want to stick around for that. If you learned something new in this video, please hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And as always, if you make something cool you want to show off, please hit that share button right up here. Copy that link and post it in the comments. I want to see what you make. All right, until next time, have a great rest of your day.